That rustling you hear in the background is Leslie opening bottles and bottles and bottles of pills, one bag of which was just 18 um, pills to take daily, two different anti-rejection drugs, and a bunch of other things. You may have noticed that the background's a little bit different than it was last night. Um, it is. Uh, we were fortunate enough to get sprung from the hospital today based upon my numbers and where I am and the fact that hospitals are dangerous places, even safe ones. And so we're here. We're at the Home 2 Suites in Azusa, and I got to hug my wife for the first time in 3 weeks, which was delicious. Um, I feel, you talk about good days. If you want to define a good day, today would be certainly defined by the fact that we were able to go ahead and fill the trunk of the car up, leave the City of Hope, head back to the hotel, and actually have a normal dinner together across from each other. I don't know whether I mentioned this before or not, but Leslie and I couldn't eat in the same room because she had to be masked all the time. So that there would be no spread of bacteria or germs of any kind. So the joy of this is that my white count is up sufficiently. I think this is it anyway. My white count is up sufficiently so that we're not panicking about the possibility of illness occurring from this. It's an interesting place to be mentally. It's an interesting place to be psychologically. Um, on the one hand, you feel ebullient that you're out of the hospital and that you're on your own and that you're headed back towards the next big portion of this process of this adventure that you're on, and that's the next 100 days. Uh, Actually, it's really the next 8 or 10 days because the next big step for me is another bone marrow biopsy. Don't recommend them. Still don't recommend them. They're necessary only to confirm a diagnosis that you don't want anyway, um, and they're painful as hell. It's a huge boon. It's a huge bone bruise that you have to cope with, and that's the next step to make sure that we know where we are with regard to having fought this disease, um, and whether or not we made the kind of progress that we want. And I'll obviously report that as soon as I can, as soon as we have an answer. There's certainly a number of clinic visits in between. Our doctor, Dr. Snyder, stopped in the room to say congratulations and goodbye, and hopefully goodbye, and made it clear that this is a journey. It's a highway, and there are bumps on the highway, and there are lots of things that can happen, um, and we should be aware of that. And it's always there's always been, and always will be, the possibility of being hospitalized again, uh, which nobody really wants. But you'd be foolish to assume um, that it's not a possibility. You have to be aware of everything, and you have to plan accordingly. Uh, it, I can't express. I can't find the words to express how grateful I am for all the people um, that have given blood and have given platelets so unselfishly and so willingly, so graciously. Uh, I'm not out of the woods when it comes to that. There's a really, really strong possibility, almost a certainty, that I will need blood and platelets again, and probably lots of it, depending upon how this goes for the next 100 days. So if you're so inclined, and if my begging or asking is not untoward, um, please keep that in mind. It's important. It's critical. It's also critical for I don't know how many people at the City of Hope who have nobody to help them, who have nobody to rally, who don't have enough people. Um, I'm pretty sure I can't give blood or platelets at this point. Um, I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to give them based upon the diagnosis and what was wrong with me. I can tell you for a fact that if I am able to give them, I will, uh, unhesitatingly. I just, it's something that's so important that it needs to be done. So as far as where we are now, other than the fact that I'm much happier than I look or seem, um, and much more grateful than I could ever be. What happens next is labs tomorrow, which is blood work and the results, seeing my doctor, seeing where we are, uh, going through the abject terror of being alone over the weekend. And by alone, I mean out of the hospital where they can't really react as quickly, although that's why we're 15 minutes away from the hospital, so we can get to the ETC, the Evaluation Treatment Center, if we need to do that, if that's something that becomes critically important, which of course it could be at any moment. We go back to the doctor again on Monday, then on Thursday, and we'll be tracking what happens and how it happens from there. And then when we get to T30, and I suppose I should have started out the journal entry by this is journal 28, T+22, 22 days past my um, transplant. Ever the overachiever, we got out of there 8 days early, and it's 4/24/19, April 24th, 2019. Um, for those of you who have decided to share this journey with me, I truly appreciate it. Welcome aboard. Welcome along. Um, I hope the time is worthwhile. I hope um, you enjoy what you hear. Maybe not comfortable with it, but at least have it resonate for you so that it gives you something to think about. Um, it's certainly given me a lot to think about over the past 5.5 years that I've been dealing with this. So, on that happy note, and that is a happy note, stay well, take care, enjoy the ride, make every minute count because it does. Love you all. Bye.